Hello. I thought I would make a ring bound journal, and I thought I'd bring you along. I've done quite a lot of prep because I was going to make this anyway, but I thought I would turn the camera on and you could come along while I make this this journal. It's going to be a little one. It's a mini journal. And it's, like I said, it's going to be ring bound. Now, I picked up, I don't know if you remember, I did the shop with me, and I think in the video after I mentioned that one of the things I was looking for were these, because I was doing my Let's Create Like Wendy, and Wendy uses these, so I wanted some of these and couldn't find any. But since then, I found this. It was all packaged, all of these index cards and all of these dividers were all packaged, still in the packaging, and it was about £5 from a second-hand store. Obviously it wasn't second-hand, it was second-hand, but everything was still packaged. So I wanted to make a kind of a ring bound journal, kind of Mrs Cog style-y, because I'm going to use this Mrs Cog's 12th Night kit. Now, I have made a little bit of a boo-boo because I printed the images 50% and they do fit, but I may have to print a few more a bit bigger for some of the things. They're actually quite nice and I can still get lots of other things on here. So I'm going to sit down and we can start. Obviously I don't like these particular tabs, and I was going to gesso them, and then I thought, well, if I gesso them I'm then going to have to do something else. So I found some paper. I'll just find it. It was from the pack that I bought from the range. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in that video. And I have made some of the little tabs to cover these up. Now, I originally cut them this shape, but I didn't really like how they looked at the edge. So I've made 4 because I've got 5 dividers. So I just thought, I'd done this before, but I'll just do a little recap. So I've cut this cardstock 4.5 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. In inches, that is 1 3/4 inches square. I folded it in half and then I punched the corners, but remember my previous mistake, I punched the corners so it opens like that, and then I just ink around the edge. Now, when I make dividers normally I kind of have to line all these up, but this is really cool because there are already tabs on these dividers. Now, from what I understand, these are really easy to get hold of in the USA. I've only seen them in 2 places in the UK, and they don't look exactly like this. I've seen them in Paper Chase, and they do it in a box a bit like the one I just showed you, and I've seen them in what used to be Staples. It's not called Staples anymore, it's called something, oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it's called something different now. So I'm going to sew a bit later, so I don't want to put glue too close to the edge here. So what I'm going to start, how I'm going to start this, I've had a little think about it, and the best way to glue, I think, is going to be to glue, oh, I've got bits hanging from my glue, and a very big kind of plug at the end, is I'm going to glue this bit with quite a decent amount of glue. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to line that up. So I'm just going to glue that bit to start with. So that's now in place, and now what I'm going to do is to make sure the corners stick, I'm now going to put glue on the bits that are showing, And I'm going to get a bit of seepage because I'm going to have to push this really well. And I'm just going to hold that for a moment because this is sticking onto, this is a plasticky kind of surface. So I've got a little blob of glue. That will, yeah, that's gone. Ah! See, that's the thing with putting this onto a plastic surface. It does slip about, and it also takes a little bit longer to dry. So that's our first one. I'm going to do the same to all of them now. And I'm just going to line them up because my tab is slightly longer than the tab that sticks out. But that means I can glue these edges and you won't get to see that tab. So I'm just going to start with that half. It is much easier when you've got a tab and you're not trying to line it up, because normally I would line it up here and I have the tab sticking out 1 centimetre, so I use the grid on my mat as a guide. So yeah, I thought we'd make a ring bound journal, but I wanted little dividers. Okay, so that's number 2. Sorry about this, guys. Maybe this is something else I should have done in advance. Glued them all but one. I just thought this is going to be the most effective way to glue. Make sure it's in the centre, and also make sure you get these edges to kind of really press down the sides of the tab. And like I said, this part we will be sewing, probably not in this video. I don't think this is going to be a it's definitely not going to be a 1-part video. I'm going to try and keep it to a minimum. I'll probably do some of the pieces off camera. I'm sorry about my hands. I've done a bit of coffee dyeing today. That's just two left. So, there's something I was going to say. You know, I should make a list. I absolutely should make a list. I make lists for everything. I'm a big list maker. Don't know about you guys, but I find if it's not written down on a list, I'm not going to do it. That's generally what happens in my house. And even on my list, I even put down things like wash the uniform. Even though I know I have to wash it every day, because otherwise my daughter won't have anything to wear for school the next day. She only has 1 set of uniform. But I have to even put that on my list. But it's good because at least I feel like I tick a lot off. I don't know about you, but I always feel like I've had a productive day if I've ticked things off my list. But then on the other hand, I was talking to my friend Chantel, hi Chantel, the other day, and she said, how's your day going? And I said it's not very productive. But what I really meant was, because I then listed the things I had done that day, and it was a huge list. Pick up exam certificates for my daughter, and I'd gone to get my contact lenses, I'd gone grocery shopping, I'd I don't know, X, Y and Z other things. But because I hadn't done any journaling or anything journal and craft related, I felt like it was an unproductive day. Because it feels like, you know, if it's not craft, it's not relevant, it's not productive. Which is silly, because, you know, it is. Obviously, we all have other things to do in our lives. So there we have our tabs, and they're all nicely lined up. pretty perfect actually. So the next thing I want to do is I need to be mindful that I've got to put holes in, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that before I decorate and decide what I'm doing with my dividers. But also I have decided, kind of Wendy style, I want to add, I've inked a few of these and dried them. I would like to add a couple maybe on the backs for pockets, but again I kind of have to plan, because I don't want to put a pocket on the back of something if I want to sew an image on here or sew some lace or trim along here. So what I think I'll do is on number 2, I'm going to put a pencil cross here, and number 4, those are the 2 I'm going to add divider cards to. So what that cross tells me is don't decorate it, because it's going to be covered up and that's going to be sewn on. So I think that's my plan. 2 and 4 will have a divider pocket on the back. So that leaves us with decorating the rest of these. Now obviously number 1 needs to be fairly impressive, although I may actually put I may put a dashboard style. I'm not sure. I really like that image. There are 3 this kind of longer ones, which are really quite cute. I love this one too. Oh, it's so difficult. It always is when you use a Mrs Cog's kit. Okay, I think I'm going to go for that one. Now I am going to do, like I said, Mrs Cog style. I'm going to sew a lot of these on. Maybe sew them on. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this one. I've got a partially cut piece of music paper, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to grab my so clumsy. I'm so clumsy, and my fingers are not very, they're a bit gluey. A bit gluey now. Okay, now of course we're going to have to ink the edges. Actually I think I'm going to go dark on these. So obviously I've made lots of dividers and things in the past, and I've used, cardstock. The Tim Holtz is my favourite, obviously. The wallflower kit is amazing to create these dividers with. So that's going to be, I think, my opening, and I'm actually going to print the title, 12th Night, to go on this too. Like I said, I am going to sew, and I'm going to sew here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a small amount of glue in the middle and on the back, and I'm going to stick this down because I know what I want to put the other side. It's not going to interfere with that. So I'm not going to go up to the edges so the glue doesn't get through my sewing machine. I'm just going to glue the middle. Now on some of these I'm going to make the images the pockets, and I think if I'm mounting the images I should be okay in terms of the size that I've printed them. I'll have to see. Now obviously the covers, we're going to do the covers too. We're not going to do those today. or I might do them today, but I just won't film them in this video. So depending how I get on, what I might do is just carry on, film the whole lot and just upload them all, so you could watch them all if you wanted to, or I might upload them in a day or two, you know, just one a day or something. So that's the first thing. Now on the back I want a pocket, a lace pocket. That one's quite thin. I love this lace. I don't have a lot of this left. Now that is going to be too big. Wow, they were the only ones I bought out, would you believe? The only ones large enough to make a pocket. Right, what can I do to make that a bit more visible? I have to ink it, I think. I have to go for the darker ink. We'll see what this looks like. Thank you to everyone who is following me on my website. Still trying to get it, you know, how I want it. Probably going to be changing it again, but it's early days. There will come obviously the logo is going to be consistent, so that's not going to change, but page layouts and things like that might, because oh, that's better. I want it to work for me and for you, those of you that are following. Okay, I wonder if we need something at the back here. Now obviously we're going to have sewing. Deliberate. Oh no, that's what, it's not a problem. As long as I sew this on first and the lace on second, of course, yeah, that's all good. It's all good. So I can't actually glue this lace down in place as yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of paper clips and I'm just going to paper clip this on, so I know that this is going to be a pocket. So I will sew this in place and then I will turn it over and I will sew this. And what I will do is, once I've sewn this, I'll use zigzag stitch and then I will sew straight stitch all of the way around the page. But what I am thinking is it needs something on the inside here. Now I am thinking it probably needs something like a stencil, and I didn't get any out. Haven't got any stencils to hand. So that's something we'll have to do in the next video. But that is our first divider, kind of all prepped and ready to go. So the second one, we've got a lace pocket on the back of that one. So I don't know, this is where we're going to have the divider. So I do just want an image on here. And it's going to be a case of, now because of where the tab is, kind of got to decide which shape image I want where. Now I'll be able to tuck something on the top if this image is low down. So that's a beautiful one, isn't it? And that one is awesome. I think it needs to be something this way round, although that's lovely, look at that. No, I think I'm going to go for this one. Let me. I think I'd quite like to mount it on this. I want to stick to just these two prints, just these two designs and the music paper. I don't want to bring anything else into it. In actual fact, maybe music paper is the way to go. You know, obviously, 12th night. Yeah, I think I want to be consistent with the image mounting, so I'm going to use music paper. I am definitely going to use that for some pockets though. I really want to incorporate more of that paper. And sometimes, you know, it's really nice to have so many different patterns and textures and prints and you know, images and styles, and blend them together. Sometimes that is brilliant, and I do love doing that. But on this, I had decided I want it to be quite consistent all the way through. I don't want it to be blending too many textures and heavy patterns. I just wanted to stick to those two prints that I've got from that paper pad. So that was kind of my thinking and feeling for this little journal. The biggest issue I'm going to have is trying to find something that works well for the cover that will also coordinate. So I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that at the moment. Now, am I going to sew this? Yes, because it's going to have the back. Oh, maybe not now. Not now I've glued it all the way around. Well, what I will do is stick it to just a single layer if I do. See, I don't want that too far up there, because what I want to do also is add some tabs, lace tabs and trim over and above what we've done. Actually, talking about that, I might put some trim here. I think this one. Do I want it hanging? See, the other thing is, I did want to sew around the edge of every single, and this one is definitely going to be sewn round because it's one of those, it's going to be one of those backed ones. So I think I'm going to put the lace so it hangs at the bottom. That's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to have to sew through one layer of glue, so I don't want to sew through a second. I'm just going to put a little bit in the middle here, and I'm going to pop that down there, and then I'm going to put just a little bit up, so it should hopefully miss the stitching, just to get this in place. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue along there just to hold that. Okay. Yeah, I like that page. I like that page. I don't know how long I've been recording for, but I expect I'm going to be cut off at some point. I mean, it will make all of the difference once these are sewn. It will make a huge difference. So obviously I will decorate somehow the what are they? Index cards. So this one, again, I'm going to decide what I'm doing. Now this one is not going to have an index card on the back, so I do need to be mindful of what I'm doing on the other side. This one I think I am going to add a pocket to. I think I'm going to add one with this paper. So I'm just going to grab my ruler, measure this. You'd think I'd remember because I've cut out all of the pages already. 10 centimetres. Now I'm going to have to just trim here a little bit because that's not particularly straight. And I'm going to trim this up again. So I've got a small piece to start with. I haven't put the glue lid on. No. So I want 10 centimetres. And I want it to meet that tab. So I want it 1 millimetre shy of 6.5. Oh, that's so pants. Paper cutter. Oh, see, now that's where. Oh, my measuring skills. They're both the same. Does it fit one side and not the other? No. How did I get that so wrong? How? It's 2 millimetres shy of 5.5. So 2 millimetres. That's better. That's much better. There we go. So I'm going to ink this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink fairly roughly all over it to get rid of some of that lighter. I want the colours to kind of coordinate well with the kit. And I'm going to darken it at the edges. I'm going to pop that there. Now, again, I have to be mindful of what I'm doing on the opposite side, and I'm running out of squares. I'm running out of panels to decorate, and I've still got a lot of images, so I think on the back I am going to pop another one, which will mean I can't sew this pocket either just yet, and I also want to decorate that. So we need more music paper. More music paper. Oh, I've got a pin, a stray pin. I think I might be having roadworks outside my house, so I apologise if you can hear that. Our town is fairly well known. This is never cut. It's never printed square on the page. It is a really old photo album. It's a really old music paper book, music book. So I'm not surprised. But it's not very convenient for us crafters. 80 years later. I actually like having the I want to say treble clef. Yeah, I want to have the treble clef because he's actually playing the instrument. Its name escapes me. I want to say ukulele, but it's not ukulele. But now I've got the word ukulele in my head, I cannot think of what it actually is. Yeah, they're definitely doing roadworks outside my house. I live on a fairly main road, which means they're often doing things, but not very often right outside the house. So I don't know what that is. Right, I think this will be the last bit I do, because I have a feeling the camera is going to go off any moment. If it does,